Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first into Impeccable Wisdom. Today I am going to talk of something which might surprise as you see this particular outlet. UMA-PUTRA-AUM. Surprising? Anyway, you're going to see a beauty as we proceed. But let me make one comment very clearly at this stage as I've said. She is my mother, divine mother. She is my guru. She has taught everything to me unconsciously of truth, the perfect truth from the core, from deep inside. She taught me the beauty of devotion, divine devotion, Bhakti-Yoga to the core, even before I was born. She taught me the mantra, silent, ajapa japa mantra, even before I was born. She taught me enlightenment, education, the value and empowerment even before I was born. That way, in true perspective, she has been chosen to be a person of a nature who's going to make a difference at every level of bhakti, karma yoga, jnana yoga, siddh, and akhand yoga to the world as such. Now, let me tell you, the greatest revelation of my life is we can choose the place of birth, parents, relatives, friends, associates, even profession before birth itself. I have already spoken about place of birth, Katra, Trikuta, Mata Vaishno Devi as such. And I've also spoken about parents, my father and mother, and their influence on me before. And my profession, profile, otherwise I've already spoken about it. But now my emphasis is more on my mother primarily, supported by my father, who was a great sport for her in every way. And I'm sure as a couple, perfect couple, they have done wonders. I'll not say my mother alone is responsible. Without the support of my father, she wouldn't have been able to do what she has done. So that way, what I am is my mother and my father both put together. But since I choose the mother first, before I go to the father, I chose Uma as my divine mother. Why? And why the spiritual science, even before my birth itself, is something which has changed the history of spiritual science as we know of. All the Ved, Upanishad, Purans, and all the scriptures are in the light of maths, physics, chemistry of divine nature, and medical science of divine nature is a sense being presented to the world in the form of Devyank and the symbolic representation which I've been talking about. Now a glimpse of that of Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, leading to Jnana Yoga, Vigyan Yoga, Pragyan Yoga, Akhandata, you are going to see today in a much more classified, proven way how things start before even you're born. Now, I'm going to make few statements which have really influenced me quite a lot in my understanding of Ved, Upanishads, and Indian scriptures. The first, let me start from Rig Ved itself. A statement is Aditi is the mother and daughter of Daksha. This particular statement has not been understood by anybody else. How can Daksha, the king of God, mother is Aditi and also daughter is Aditi? But does this statement really makes any sense to you? And I'm sure it hasn't made any sense to anybody else except me. I have made it clear for years what it means. Second thing, let me take you to this is statement from Rigved. He is represented with a goat head, the omnipotent, omniscient king. He is the son of goddess Aditi. His daughter is called goddess Aditi. Is the same statement which I am talking about. Now let's take to the Upanishad level. In Upanishad they say Aditi is the mother and daughter of Aditya. Only the difference is Daksha, which is a king, is named as Aditya Surya, the sun god. And I can tell you, as far as solar system is concerned, He is the God for solar system. Without him, we all on the earth, all living beings of no use at all. It is Sun who has made the difference. So he is Daksha, he is the king, he is the everything to us. I have learnt A to Z only from Surya. You picture you can see. Then I am also making one statement. Aditya is hydrogen, Aditi is helium-4. This is science now bringing together. You can see the picture inside the sun right there, which I am going to explain as I move on. Now, this is again picture which shows hydrogen is Aditya, helium-4 picture you can see. And this is the title of one of the things which I called Sun, the greatest guru of human mind. This is what Upanishad talk about. Now taking to the next stage, the goddess Aditi, the mother and daughter of Aditya. This is Upanishad state. A healthy female with two hands. She comes from the core of Aditya, the sun, the omnipotent, omniscient God. She is the mother of Lord Aditya. She is the daughter of Lord Aditya, is again the statement which I am saying. Does it make sense? And I wonder whether anybody has understood this before reading my expressions for the first time, or somebody repeating my expressions. Now, I'm bringing it together, a scientific concept, the proton and proton nuclear reaction in the sun. This is where we start at the picture. Aditya is hydrogen, 4 atoms of Aditya getting together step by step to form helium-4 as the energy, which I call Aditi, which is the soul, indwelling soul called Kundalini, Antaratma. Aditi is helium-4. If the father is sun, then mother is Aditi as far as human beings are concerned. So I think from that the chapter is very clear. Aditya, first element, is the father. Second element, inert matter, Aditi is our indwelling soul. This is the greatest realization of my life, which has made me understand the beauty of Ved, Upanishad and Indian scriptures and give divine mathematics, Divyang to the world, understanding mathematics of each and every element of the periodic table itself. Now taking to the next stage, I'm just making it clear. Hydrogen and helium burn in the core of the sun. You can see the picture. Surface temperature is 1600, but inside core is 6000 degrees centigrade. Core temperature is 6000, outside is 1600. So helium, hydrogen to helium can be at 1006 degrees as a plasmatic state, or in the core in the form of helium-4, which is indwelling soul. And temperature of human body is very less, 37 degree. So Antaratma, that which comes, is the one which gives us the power of enlightenment rising to the higher level. This is what is the experience of mine even before I was born. And it is given by Aditi, and I'm glad it is in the body of my mother and supported by my father. In every way, an ideal couple should support the wife, which is most worshipful. The first is mother, then is the father. That's it. And I make one thing very clear. Divinity is one, mother is second. All energy I get is from my mother's, her ovum, not sperms of my father or at all. Father gives you own chromosomes, but mother gives the chromosomes plus the energy of her ovum and the cell to give us what we are. So that way we owe much more to the mother. That's the time which I make to the world. First, learn to respect and regard women. They are the one who have made us. Nobody has any right to do anything against mothers because they are jananis. They need all the support from everyone in the world. They support from the father, support from the brother, support from the husband, support from the son. These all father, grandfathers, husband, son, brother, all of them should blindly give all the rights to the mothers, sisters, and daughters so that they become the next generation for next generation. I am so basically because my father gave everything to my mother made optimum use. As a result, I am perfect only because of support of my father and the work of my mother is what has made me the way I am today. Second, now in the womb itself, I learnt that Son and Mother Earth have also a relationship. And this shows that 108 suns can fit between Sun and Earth itself, is something which I have already spoken. And this is with respect to 188 beads of Japamala, that rosary with which she used to. She was not literate. She did not how to read, how to write, but she did mantras, chanting, particularly Om, very well. Uma taught me Om, and that is what I am going to show you as we proceed. One lesson of 108 meant that. Second 108 is the 108 earth can be on the moon itself. That is another beauty of 108, and Pentagon also has 108. Even between earth and moon also you have the same concept. So the combination sun, moon and earth centers are 108. No wonder Sharmala was 108. She used to count particularly Om, the way Mandukya Upanishad is talking about. And that is the impression which gave me the understanding of Om even when I was in womb. As a result, it became a Ajapa Japa Jat from the very beginning, and as a result, I could understand Gayatri Mantra much better as I proceeded. Seeds of understanding Om were laid in by my mother when I was in her womb, sitting at the lap of Trikuta mountain, chanting Gayatri Mantra, Om, and other Durga Mantra in her womb itself. That is the transformation which I am talking about. Now they come to question of even understanding the sun from which Aditi come. So Aditi has taught me even the sun's whole projection revolves around 22 years. From North Pole to the South Pole, 11 years. From South Pole to North, 11 years. 20 years, 22 years of cycle and 11 dimensions of Surya were taught to me by Aditi itself even before I was born. I think that is the descent of Ma Shakti into me, my body. The growing body had that particular thing of many. And of course, Aditi to next to Gayatri, I learnt as I proceeded on. But glad these things happened when I was in mother's womb, learning A to Z perfectly. Having great parents and atmosphere around is an asset for anyone to move on a spiritual journey, and that is what I'm talking about. Second thing, the first lesson which I learnt while in womb is the truth. Come what may, you should never say anything which is not experienced truthfully and honestly. Satya me vijayate. Truth always wins, and Om is that Satya. This is something I learnt when I was in my mother's womb after 22 weeks of her pregnancy, when my soul entered into the body and started modifying. So realization for this life learning started there itself. So as a result, the seeds of Bhakti-Yoga were laid in my mother's womb even when this fetus of Shibhushan Sharma was just 22 weeks alone. And after that, awareness was phenomenal. Now I have brought two more concepts down, Kundan Lal Saigal and Shiv Kumar Sharma. Incidentally, both of them come from my region of Jammu only. Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh is the area which is the head of India, and both Kundan Lal Saigal, a great singer of the past, and Sheikh Kumar Sharma, a great santoor player known all over the world. And I have a great pleasure of knowing Shiv Kumar Sharma personally, having discussion with it. Now I'm going to talk about one thing which my father told me and one thing which I told Shiv Kumar Sharma with respect to Om. Now come to the Kundan Lal Sharma. My father told me very clearly the singing of Kundan Lal Saigal was not an excellent till he was told that take deep breath right up to the navel chakra and then lift the voice from there. And the transformation came only for everything. His voice was raising from Nabhi chakra alone. And incidentally, later in my life, I have told many of the great singers, learn to do pranayam, take deep breath, come right up to navel chakra and then lift the voice, sing, you'll find a great change. Or if you are lucky enough to go right up to Muladhara chakra and then move on slowly up, you can do even better job. I am not a singer. I do not take pride. I can sing songs the way Kundanlal ji could sing, Ja Mukesh could sing, Ja Rafi ji could sing, or many other great singers could sing. I am nowhere in touch, but I can assure you, chanting of Om done by me can beat any of the singers of the world. And that is what I told Shiv Kumar Sharma, to make a music of chanting of Om in all the 10 chakras. And I demonstrated to him, take a deep breath, put the concentration on Muladhara chakra, and then chant Om in such a way that Akara, 7 parts, Yukara 7 parts, Makara 7 parts, and Turiya 1. And then lift it to Swadhisthana chakra, Nabhi, Usha, Anhata, Vishuddhi, Ajna, Vigyan, Pragyan, and Sahasrara. And then showed him. He was impressed. And he promised when he comes next time to Chennai, we will have a studio, record it in that and do. But unfortunately, he never returned thereafter. But anyway, that discussion with him was phenomenal, and that's enough. And I'm sure somebody can do it. With Mandukya Upanishads, Om, which I have written, this was done by me in 1974, 50 years ago. And I was not into spiritual science at all at that particular stage. And incidentally, this is also associated with the picture you have seen of my mother. They come from the same album. She is there in the middle. This is in the last chapter. Unconsciously done 50 years ago. But fourth were laid there. In this you can see A you can see, you can see, Ma you can see, Moon you can see, Earth you can see, Surya you can see. You can also see Dhruv star over there. The entire universe is represented this particular Om. And also Ganesha can be seen in this particular thing. The swing of Ganesha can be seen. The abdomen of Ganesha can be seen. Everything is there in this particular thing. And it's also designed with Divyank. Length and breadth is Divyank ratio only. Can you imagine? Mantra Shastra, highest as Mahamantra, Pranava, put with Divyank, with all the concept of the world. Human being, moon, sun, as well as earth, plus even Dhruv, pole star, into one. I thought that was phenomenal. And that's it. Now coming to the second lesson which I learnt, that I entered into my mother's womb of Shibush, that particular stage at 22 weeks. This is something which I learned. And from this moment onward, real Bhakti Yoga was the first lesson which I learned from my mother. Let me make it very clear. Bhakti, full devotion for divinity, I started learning when I was 22 weeks, like this fetus growing in my mother's womb. And today we are passing through Maha Kumbh Mela. And I find so many people are critical of those sadhus, nangas, and many of those people who are tyagis, vairagis, and sannyasis, left everything to the world. They are devoted to Lord Shiva. and doing everything the way they are doing, but I don't understand why people are critical of them. I think they are the ones who are very healthy, very wealthy, very wise and happy. They don't need money. They just want devotion. I think they are the examples of devotion, and as a result, they are given first right to dip in Ganga, Prayagraj, and leave the whole thing for everybody else to merge and get liberated or moksha thereafter. I think greatest devotion could have been done by those people who give up everything for devotion alone. So, giving first example, or most important example, to Naga sadhus and other sadhus coming there, instead of criticizing them, it is not easy to be devoted to God and give everything to God. And it's a God who's going to give you all the information, whether it's the data, information, knowledge, wisdom, or impeccable wisdom. Only divinity can give. We are only an instrument. Only Aditi can give. Gayatri can give. Adi Prashakti can give. And Sakar Sarkun Brahman can give, or Nirankar Nirkun Brahman can give. These are the divinities which can give, not we human beings. We are only an instrument. I make it very clear. I am only an instrument, divine grace, because I am filled in bhakti by my mother even before I was born. That is the second thing which I learnt. Third, is a self-study is something which yoga also talks about. You need to have your own anubhav. That is also something which I learned from my mother. She was not educated, but she had all the experience of divinity within her body itself. She knew what is right, what is truthful, what is non-violent, what is content, what is required to be a perfect, healthy, wealthy, wise, and human being. She knew very well because she experienced that within her own physical body. And that is the study I'm talking about. Self-study is absolutely essential for everybody. But I find most of the people who are, call themselves educated, I call them literate, not educated. Person with devotion for divinity can only be educated, enlightened and empowered. Without that, we cannot be. That's it. So I'm making it very clear. Without the foundation of Bhakti-Yoga, which I picked it up from my mother and my father, and Karma Yoga from my father and mother. And then I went on to add Jnana Yoga, Vigyan Yoga, Pragyan Yoga, then Siddha Yoga, then Akhandata thereafter, but with the foundation of Bhakti Yoga and Karma Yoga even before I was born. This is the third thing which I learned, which made me what I am today. And that I gave it to my mother once again, and my father, of course. Third thing, I'm making it very clear. My mother had no formal school education at all. She did not know how to read, write any language. That is the truth. But she was the greatest intuitive, intelligent person I have ever seen. He had the answer of impeccable wisdom for everything. And basically that is what you pick it up when you are in tune with inner soul. You have devotion for Ved, Upanishad, divinity per se. Only then you become wise. Otherwise, not at all possible. Your formal education, whether it's Sanskrit, Hindi, or any language of the world, is very secondary. The real knowledge comes from within. And that's the reason I say human body has got a reptilian brain within us. And all the reptiles do not need doctors. They know what to do. All the animals know what to do. They have no teacher, they have no formal education. But I can tell you, I have learned from reptiles, which are Naga sadhus, and also the animal kingdom, how to be perfect at every level without any teaching of any nature. And that's it important. Realization of reptilian brain and realization of mammalian brain is much more important before you go to higher brains of thinking human brain or go to superhuman thinking of Om itself. So without the reptilian brain, which is unconscious, subconscious, and also the social brain of mammalian type or the animals, and then to the two-legged human beings, and then to superhuman beings, is learned step by step. Someone who does not experience the beauty of reptilian brain within the body, person's homeostasis will be affected. Body will tell you what is right, what is wrong, what is required, what is not required. So that is a foundation thing. That I learnt as a fourth thing from a mother who was not formal education, but she was enlightened about reptilian brain, mammalian brain, human brain, and Durkheim full in such. We need such people who give us the wisdom, not defective things which I see in the world. All the world need to change their mindset. We are doing something which is absolutely against another human being, another animals. Unless and we think of good of everybody, we cannot. And that is also I learned lesson from my mother and my father, even before I was born. Then fifth definition is, she knew very well she is not educated, but she wanted everybody to get impeccable wisdom. So she taught that impeccable wisdom and for us to write about it. But then she said that is required for integrated education, enlightenment, empowerment. I am giving the wisdom. Now you translate into thing and share with the world. But I am very sorry to say I have three elder brothers and three elder sisters. They did not succeed in translating her impeccable wisdom into graphic presentation for the world as such. But I am glad I had picked it up in her womb, and I started using her knowledge of Bhakti Karma Yoga to go to the knowledge step by step from within out, not from the books outside. Whatever I read from the books outside, I found it defective. But I'm glad I found the defect, I read the answer and gave it to the, as a student from school, college, university till today with from inside, not from outside. Only after cognition I have given the knowledge, not a copy of another book. And all the books which I've read of translations or commentaries of Ved, Upanishads and scriptures are highly defective. They have been given by man-made concepts. Even mathematics used in the world is man-made defective one. Physics is based on that. Chemistry is based. So are the medical sciences. But this knowledge from within experience has given me something which need to change, and Divyang will change. And all my videos are meant only from that point of view. That was fifth divine lesson I learnt. Then come to the sixth lesson. This is the land, Akhand Bharat, is a better nation than any other nation in the world. If there is a nation in the world, it is only Akhand Bharat. And I'm talking about nation. I'm not talking of states. I'm not talking United States of America or any other thing, because they are states which have nothing in common with each other. They have no culture of theirs. They have no organization. But Akhand Bharat is a nation from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, and east it is Himalayas, and the west it is Sindhu, and right at the bottom is Sindhu Maharaj. This is the Sindhu Rashtra, I can call it, and say this is a land which she's most important, and my mother never wanted anybody to leave this particular land. And I remember very clearly my sister, her husband wanted to go to Canada, prepared everything, but my mother put her foot, said no, you are not going it, and that's it. And I think that has been the greatest lesson for me, that I, come what may, shall not lead India, and let me do everything in Akhand Bharat and do everything this. That devotion for my nation. We are a great nation, and we are united by Sanskrit and Indian scriptures, including all the languages, including Tamil, which are reflections of Sanskrit only. And this is the Gyan which is required for the world to rise again to Satya Yuga. And that was sixth lesson which I learnt when I was in mother's womb itself. Then seventh lesson which I learnt from my mother and my father is, learn to give, give and give. When you say give, give and forgive, that means you are just like Surya Bhagwan. Surya Bhagwan only knows how to give it, does not take anything. And same thing is with respect to Karan by and large. Karan is also supposed to give up whatever he gives. Incidentally, according to Mahabharata, Karan is the son of Surya only. So he has the reflection. For that matter, I also represent same thing, Surya, Karan, and maybe even better than Karan, because I have given gone to the extent not in the physical Lakshmi alone. I'm giving the knowledge also. I'm giving the impeccable wisdom to the world and give it free for the love of it. And that's it. No get and forget. People who get and forget are of no use at all because you are beggars. You have to give out of things. One thing which I learned from my mother and father, whatever donations you make, whatever you give out of your own work from your own earning. Don't make somebody donate it to you and then you further donate. No way. Akhand Vidyashram, my charitable trust, make it very clear, we will not take even one price from anyone. Whatever I donate, whatever I give out of my earnings, honest earning through my work alone. That is why Akhand Vidyashram stands on. But when it comes to the truth, I can beat even Harishchandra. Harishchandra is supposed to do that, but I have gone to the extent that I do not have any objection of telling it wrong is wrong right on the face. I do not have any problem. I make it clear. People get offended. It's your problem, not my problem. But truth is, I want everybody to be truthful. Have your intentions very clear. Niyat saaf ho, nitiyan achhi hogi, natije. It has to be based only on truth. Truth only can win is something which I learned from my father, mother, and myself. And I think we are an example for the world. That is seventh lesson. And I think 7 lessons have the great foundation laid in me before I was even born. No wonder when I got for next 7 years, I was seeing the entire world with this wisdom and I was enlightened. And thereafter, all my presentation, academic presentation, was super exemplary. Because when you talk from inside, with experience, honest, truthful, non-violent, and going for everybody, only then you can be perfect. Otherwise, copycat fellows can never be perfect at all. I want people to now, for their understanding, start learning about Divyank and these things which are connected to my videos, my answers, my books, and learn fresh, because all the knowledge available otherwise is defective, is not going to give you universal consciousness. Now, I'm coming back to the foundation question. UMA-PUTRA-AUM. Is Om the son of Uma? Is a question. Now I have put one thing. Uma, I have gone and repeated for number of times. But can you see Om in that particular process? It is there. Uma and Om are contemporaries. So one, she represents Om, or Om represents her, is something which I learnt. So that is what are the integral part I'm talking about. And I learned the mastering of Om as I told you very clearly. I can chant Om in such a way. The A part, Akara part will be of 7 parts. Yukara are 7 parts in the health, lower abdomen, Ma head, and Turiya emptiness. And that is what Mandukya Upanishad is talking about. And that is only 12 verses. And that is what Kumbh Mela is all about. The Purna Kumbh is once in 12 years and Mahakumbh is 12 into 12. So now you see they are all related with devotion, Om as such. Maha Mantra is Om, Soham is Om, Pranava is Om, our breath is Om. So Hum Sa is actually Om only. And anyone who can experience that within the body, the one who can think of mantra shastra, otherwise not at all possible. Even Gayatri mantra without Om is not there. But Akhand Gayatri mantra talks of 22 Oms and tons Mahavyatis. It shows how powerful Akhand Gayatri mantra is all about. That's what. Now come to the question of learning of mantras. As I told you, Om, Shiv, Om. was the mantra which was very clear to my mother. And Om I have put first, then Shiv picture, Om. And right at the bottom I have put infinity. Within that I have put an alpha spindle. And this is alpha spindle of 8 hertz, which Om can produce. Anyone who can chant mantra in form that it looks like a spindle of 8 hertz is a super. I have given the word Divyang Dhwani. If you go into it, the graphic presentation is like spindles, and that is exactly what Patanjali Yoga Sutra is talking of, the mind itself. That Samadhi Parinama representation like spindle. I can produce alpha spindles of 8 hertz throughout the brain with eyes open for the first time in the history of mankind, because I've experienced the Om within the body. I'm connected with that. And Divyang Dhwani does only that. Anyone who can listen will know Om Shiv Om. When this Om you start, then put Shiv and then put Om, you have 1,000 times mantra. And it's perfect mantra of Earth Mahakumbh of 6 years. That's it. You're going to see that. Now, no formal education, I'm coming back again, did not know how to write any language. So her chanting 108 beats, that is what I've shown. The mala she was using was 108 beats, and about it as well, that is made her superconscious chanting level unconsciously, subconsciously, and superconsciously within her conscious body itself. No wonder she was walking, talking encyclopedia of Om itself, whole Bhakti-Yoga itself. What to be in the womb of a mother who is a walking, talking Om by herself. And his name is Uma, and she is talking about Om, Om, Om only. And without any formal education. Fantastic. Second, this is what I've done. I did in 74. Once again, I'm showing it. And down I've shown the Mandukya Upanishad. A Akara 7, Yukara 7, Makara 7. Turiya is something which is beautiful. Then again is 12 verses. That means same. What do you say? Kumbh Mela of 1 year, 6 years, or 12 years, or 12 into 12 Mahakumbh represent again Bhakti Yoga alone. And with the purification of that Ganga water, you can rise to the highest level of consciousness. Is something phenomenal. We are passing to the stage. We should devote the devotion within us. We should realize that we should be astic, not nastic. Without the divine consciousness, we cannot do anything. I owe everything to Aditi and divine consciousness. That's it. Then come to the Mahakumbh, as I told you. I was born and brought up in Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh. Normally we write Jammu and Kashmir. But actually it is state of Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh. All the three parts are the part of Jammu and Kashmir which Dogra kingdom ruled. Ladakh. And why I am making Ladakh so important? Because that is where Sindhu from Kailash, Mansarovar, river which comes, goes north to, from Tibet to Ladakh part, and then goes west into so-called Pakistan, which actually it was Bharat, Akhand Bharat only. That is demarcation which I showed in the picture is what it is. So I was born and brought up in the top to start with, but I am happy that I came to the southernmost part of India, Tamil Nadu, and I'm living in Chennai since 1968 continuously, except for a gap of 3 years that also was occasional for life. That is, so I represent Kashmir to Kanyakumari, as such the entire subcontinent, nation of Akhand Bharat. And I represent greatest nation ka Bharat, Akhand Bharat as such. I am a spiritual scientist by nature. As a result of this, Bharat has given me impeccable wisdom, and this can give you universal peace, and that is what I am talking about. Without devotion of Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, divinity per se, or the universal consciousness, we cannot be educated at all. For that, formal education should follow Divyank first, and then, of course, Bhakti Yoga, then Karma Yoga, then go to Gyan Yoga, then come to the completion. I have done that in stages, starting from Bhakti alone, then Karma Yoga, then to the knowledge. Now that you can see, the graphic representation of Bharat is seen in Prayagraj itself. The picture of Bharat which I have shown, now you see the picture. The same thing Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Here also you have same thing. There you have Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal, and what you call Sindhu Mahasagar. Those three things. Also you can see Ganga, Yamuna, and Saraswati. That's it. Is it by chance? No. This is divine plan, because this land belongs to the divinity per se. This is the world which gave Ved and Upanishad. This is the world which gave divine mathematics. This is the world gave all the wisdom to the world with a devotion, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Siddhi Yoga, and of course Akhand Yoga. And that's it. And I am glad to put here together. 60 years ago, there was Mahakumbh in 1965. My parents wanted to go, but unfortunately, because of my father's sickness, could not go. So they made it available in 66 to go to Prayagraj with people from my own place, which was followed by my own relatives, including my younger brother Ram. And that was 59. They knew very well they want to have this duty so that they can get moksha by and large. Both my father and brother, with many of my other relatives, including my aunt and my brother, went in a bus from Jammu to Prayagraj in 1966 itself. Then 1967 again, there was a pilgrimage of 4 dham by my mother, my father, my sister, her husband, her children, her father-in-law, her mother-in-law, and of course her sister-in-law and co-brother. All of them went to Yatra of 4 dham. We started from Gangotri, Yamunotri to Gangadhar to Kedarnath, Badrinath, and of course right up to many other places. That was a phenomenal thing. In this particular picture of that era, I'm glad was taken 1967. I could get this kind. You can see the left my mother and right my sister. My sister is in front on the right side. My mother is the back side. So I call left my mother as a Devki Mata. I'm the eighth son, eighth child of my mother. So I fit into something I can call she is Devki Mata. She gave birth to me. She is my Uma. Now, right, I have put as a Yashoda Maya because after my mother, or along with my mother, the one who has spoken like my mother, like Yashoda Maya of Krishna, is my Vimla. I am grateful both these women have taught me the perfection to the core. Whatever I am today, I devoted to both of them in such. They nurtured me with impeccable wisdom. I have seen the beauty of Bhakti Yoga, Karam Yoga, and of course, I can't give them to the stage of Jnana Yoga of the level which I'm talking about. But both in Bhakti and Karma, they were excellent in every way. And I think they deserve the pilgrimage. They deserve accolades. They deserve to be appreciated. And I'm glad I got this picture to show to the world how devoted I am to my mother and my sister, and of course my father, and of course entire world, entire divinity by and large. I'm only an instrument. I'm only a student. What I've learned, I'm sharing with. Now come to the question of Earth Kumbh Mela, and I'm glad in 1971, my mother, her sister, who is Muktananda, a enlightened yogi who was taken to sannyas, and her cousin from Banihal, who is also called Prayagraj. There are three of them gone to Haridwar for Ardh Kumbh Mela of 1971. That was one of the year when I had gone home, I did not find, and I had to go to Haridwar to meet them. They called me there so I could have the pleasure of breathing into Ganga water in 1971 in this particular thali alone. Those That was a beautiful experience, and I think I understand that I was privileged by my mother. I have taught you Karma Yoga, I have taught you Bhakti Yoga. Now you are into education. Now get deeply, purify yourself completely. Physical purification inside, physical purification inside, outside, and totality is required to understand truth, understand non-violence, understand universal consciousness, understand education by and large. I think 1971 is good example that I have literally purified myself for them. But let me also tell you, I've been purifying myself ever since my childhood in the Ban Ganga, which was produced in Katra itself by Mata Vaishno Devi. That is all Ban Ganga, the same purified water. So purification, internal, external, both are important. Now, a lesson till today, so far, is Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga as such. That's it. Now come to the science of Kumbh Yoga. As I told you, the vessel is Kumbh, which contains Amrit by and large. And also Kedarnath is temple in which those people had gone for pilgrimage. The Kalash also represents the same thing. So water is Amrit, is something which I am telling to the world. And 61.803% water on earth within the human body and within the human cell is essential, and that is what Devyanki is all about. Now come to the next stage. Even when we die, among the Hindus, it is the community that we need to cremate. While needing to cremate, the son of the person who is dead, mother or father, carries a kulch of water, of mud, to the cremation, and with the water it breaks it down to show that you are given freedom from the birth of cycle. And that is the most beautiful picture I thought I should explain. We Again, water is important, and then burial should be in a place which is like Ganga, where it dissolves by itself. I think that is again a beautiful knowledge by Akhand Bharat to the world, that after cremation, cremate it with Agni Bhuti. Of course, the water and things like that. All the Panchabhuta should go back. If you want to take birth, take birth. Otherwise, get liberated. Both the things are very clear, and I made it clear. People who do not want to take birth at all, you can go to Kailash and get merged into the helium shower over there. But if you want to take birth, you go get purified and take birth again. Like me, I want to take birth again because every birth I can improve upon the quality of it. And whatever I learnt was based on my experience of earlier lives. And there's a lot of divinity which I have understood and given to the world. Now, my mother, her moksha was she wanted an end of cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Maybe that was her moksha by and large. Then she used to do yag every 6 months to drop one thing or other for self-discipline, and that is what I have already explained earlier too. Then come to the question of her moksha was that you to fasting, eliminate things, and then purify yourself from throat also. So whatever you speak should also be purified. And I think expression of Vishuddhi Chakra or Nilkant could also be purification in that. But of course, I talk about it that Vishuddhi Hala Hala is actually iodine, which is Nirankar Nirgun Brahman by and large. That is most beautiful thing I explained in my other videos by and large. Then come to question of another very important. My mother was very fond of Shiv. She used to offer water and shivling completely every day. And it is said that married women are not expected to offer water at all. And I can tell you, this is not something which was accepted by my mother at all. Married woman, she said, no, Shiv is divine. Has nothing to do with anything other than divinity. So she always took, maybe that's the reason her mantra was Om Shiv Om only. Now you can understand how much devotion she had for divinity of Lord Shiva, which is third stage of maturation, and of course the third stage of Divyank alone. So seeds of Divyank were laid in Trikuta itself, in Katra, in my mother's womb itself. How beautiful it is. That is where bhakti, devotion, and karma yoga come very important as we move. So I can say she produced, nurtured, and evolved her son, who is Shiv. No wonder. Her brother was Shiv. I am Shiv. Her devotee is Shiv. And of course, she is not only of Shiv, she respects Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, all the gods and goddesses of Hinduism. All are very, very fond, including from Kul Devi to the highest level. I think she understood all of them, and I think that makes her a perfect person fit for moksha, one and large. Then come to the question of her moksha. And she made it very clear her home is that temple. She does that and goes out for austerities of only very auspicious specials on auspicious occasions, not otherwise. For her, east or west, everything is home, and that is what is Katra. That is what I have learnt. Beautiful. For me, my home is my temple. My work is from home. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, everything from home alone. And from whom I should be in a position to provide abundance of everything for the complete family by me alone with my hard work. I've learned that from mother. I've done that all my life. Then comes the question of mother her moksha. She used to get up in the morning, do all the rituals, prayers, temples, everything. So literally you can say one man powerful mother, where all the 64 arts directly or indirectly I learned from her. She was role model, integrated person along with her husband and of course everybody. We were perfect family at every level. No wonder we were united by Bhakti Yoga, united by Karma Yoga, united by Jnana, Vigyan, Pragyan to level which I have added as I have moved on. They gave me two, I have added the remaining completely to take it to Divyank level. But foundation by mother before birth, during in the before birth and thereafter is phenomenal. Now, coming to the pilgrimage they have done, I have already explained that including Amarnath, my visit to Amarnath within 7 years has made a difference that I should understand Tantra Vidya completely. And there I make it very clear. It is Parvati and Shiv put together as a couple, which a picture I made at a later date in 92 is a reflection of that, which showed that Shakti is 61.803%, Shakta is only 38 point, and that made Divyank even much more important as a ratio. Then come to the question of her death was in Udhampur, which had Devaki river is just like Ganga. Katra also have Ban Ganga, Udhampur has Devi Ganga, and also Parmandal has Uttravani. All these are the places where you cremate and you don't need to take that body to Ganga at all. And she chose her place, Udhampur, and we didn't have to take it to Ganga water for immersion at all. Then another thing as far as the monetary approach is concerned is something which I learned my mother very, very well. She said, love everyone, help everyone from your own sources. She used the family resources only. She did not borrow, beg, and steal from others. She was not a medium to get from others' donation and then pass on. Whatever she had from my father's sources is what was given to everybody lovingly, clearly, otherwise. So that way, I think that's something which I learned. If you want to do service, work hard, earn it, give out of your own earning. Don't borrow, beg, and steal and give it and take credit. That is not donation. Donation is from your own sources, and Akhand Foundation, my charitable trust, is very clear. Not even one person is going to take even one paisa from anybody. And I think I learned that from my mother itself. The advice is, again, my mother said very clearly, you should be on merit, scholarship should be merit, and I took. But one more lesson which I learned in the process after getting loan scholarship from government of Jammu and Kashmir, and of course merit scholarship from government of India, I managed to have my education. But when it came to the question of repaying the amount, when I was asked by the government of India that you have to pay a joint, I paid them the full amount. But later I was made to understand that nobody repays these loans and they are written off. And I can't understand an educated person also, instead of giving back to the government, the money can be used by other people, are not paying. What kind of mindset is such people? And it's pathetic. That is why I have been very clear. Get and forget is going to make you beggar. You will not evolve at all. You will be always been begging, begging, begging. You should learn to work hard, learn with bhakti, learn with karma yoga, learn with jnana yoga, learn with vigyan, learn with pragyan. You become abundance of Shakti will come to you. You go after Saraswati, Lakshmi will run after you. And that money, with that you should use it, not from anything which is free. Anything free given to anybody, any political party, otherwise, I condemn it. It is so, you are making them beggars, beggars and beggars. You are not making human society responsible. You are not making them Karim Yoga. You are not making them Jnana Yoga. You are not giving them anything. You are making only slaves, slaves, slaves. That is not what is expected of any civilized person at all. Now, since she was divinity in every way, she has given up everything. She is like a goddess and my guide. She can take birth if she wants. She has free will. It is up to her to choose when to take birth and what not to take birth. Now come to my father's case. I'm very fond, as I've been telling you from the very beginning. That is one part. Now, he was a fond Lord Shiva and named me as Shiv. And of course, many of these things I've already spoken. I'm not going to go into detail of it. And of course, this is something which I've just written before. I'm not going to elaborate on it. And then divine profession at 53 started Kashmir, and that gave me a chance to go to Kashmir. This also brings into the mind, right out to 53, things were very bad in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Even to go from rest of the India to Jammu and Kashmir, you needed to have a permit. And somehow, Shyama Prasad Ji Mukherjee's death became a root cause to say that Article 370 should go, and permission to go to Jammu and Kashmir by rest of the Indians should be free. And only after 53 he could have his outlets in Kashmir, Srinagar, Martand. Things have changed, but unfortunately changed again. That's the unfortunate part. Now I went to Amarnath during the same period, maybe in 1957, so in Martand, so in Srinagar. As a result, I had the pleasure of learning Tantra Vidya as given by Lord Shiva to and Kashmir Shivism by and large. I think that has been a beautiful part by and large. Then come to the question, he was a professional guide to me. He taught me how to be a good Karma Yogi, how to get up in time, do things systematically, and do a consultation. And he would never charge anybody money. Whatever was given to him, he would take it. Similarly, I did not charge any consultation from any of my patients. What was given to me was, but it was much more than required for me. As a result, money was never a problem for me in my professional life at all. Then in 1992, this picture taught me how is Ganga very important, is I realized by doing this. Then question, I understood the beauty of Akhand Bharat as such. And of course, Akash Ganga's thing, that Ganga came to the head and became like Ling, but it was throat from which Ganga river came. So that is the picture which I have shown about. Now, the story of Akash Ganga I have already explained. You can read it later. I'll go back to the old one and see how this Bhagirath managed to bring Ganga and how things were changed thereafter. And this is a picture of Bhagirath from Mahabalipuram. And this is the picture of Akash Ganga coming down, Shiva accepting it. Parvati is there and is Bhagirath, is an old picture. And thereafter I understood that Brahma has to be understood, and it has got first law of creation is equivalent to pi or 22 by 7 or 22 by 21. And I know that I have explained that in Chandogya Upanishad, solar system is made of 21 parts, and to go to next stage is 22. Same thing is seen in Mandukya Upanishad. Same thing is in living cells, that there are 21 parts and they become 22 parts at the first stage of creation. I've already explained. And so does the head and face bones are 22 bones, 21 are fixed, one is that. So expression is given by the thinking brain through the bones and head. And also I've explained that 7 chakras, which other the Satchakra Niruparan talks about, is about the bony structures about the central canal. As a result, you can't experience that at all. But experience inside is the 10 parts which I have spoken about it. And this picture is a representation of that as such. Now, I'm talking about Dasavatar. There are 10 stages of development, and in this picture I've sent what I learnt as a Matsya fish in Marthand, that temple, to come to the Kalki Avatar, 10 stages. But from what other people talk, I have made a little change. Right up to 7 are the same, there is no doubt. But 8th, instead of Buddha, I have brought Balram into the picture. Buddha does not fit into Vishnu consciousness at all. Vishnu is very clever, intelligent, is not so-called Ahimsavadi. He stands by truth to be taken. Ahimsa is not to kill, but taking things lying down without questioning, not defending yourself, is not ahimsa. So all the people who allowed others to kill them in the name of ahimsa are definitely not the one which fit into this. So Balram, as a non-aligned person who preferred not to take part in the war, but he had all the intelligence to keep away, and shows what allocates the brain. So I put that as the 8th. Krishna 9th, and Afo Kalki. These are 10 stages which I've shown. It's absolutely essential to see Brahma is the 22 by first is the first stage of creation. Then 10 stage development is what this Rasatar is all about. And then how to form the perfect divine design of the golden ratio is written at 1.61, or this are defective. But how to develop, this is the process which I use to bring the value of 100 into 161.8034. And this is something which I want, how easily I did it for the first time in history of mankind. This could have been used by anybody. This was used the process of Brahmana Stapta of Yajnavalkya as such, not Pythagorean theorem. But Indians were very good at that. I want you to see how I translated Divyank rectangle through to realize the beauty of Divyank alone as 1.618034. That was done for the first time in 2000, before 2015 itself. It from step by step I have come to this. But next I talked about infinity inverse Divya ratio as 61.8034%, and this was an example of that nature which I want you to see in detail in earlier videos. Then third step was to find 10 stages of 22 by 21, how 10 stages plus has gone. And this shows how beautifully I have come and came to the stage of 0.34419 as such. But to confirm that it could not be done with this particular picture, it did it with this concept as a Shivank. So Vishnuank 10, Brahmank 22 by 21. Now come to the Shivank. This particular mathematical design was not clear. Shivank is not known. Brahmank was known. Vishnuank known. But to find the Shivank, I have found the Divyank ratio of 1.618034. From there to find 5 digits, Panchbhutas of Shiva, with the help of my friend Professor Govindarajulu, to sit with IBM SPS version 23. Within the space of 2 days in 2014 and 15, we found the number, and that was brought down to the level which you're going to see in the next video. In the next video, you could see the Divyank, the divine which I deserve, 22 by 21 to the power of 10.344, equivalent to that. As a result, the divine design of nature was revealed step by step over a period of 60 years of work to understand perfection, for which the foundation was laid in Bhakti-Yoga, Karma-Yoga by my parents, then Gyan Yoga, Vigyan Yoga, Pragyan Yoga, Akhandata by me over a period to come to this stage. And that is the one which is going to change the syllabus of the world. Bring the science again to research with Divyank. You'll have the perfect knowledge, impeccable wisdom of math, physics, chemistry, medical sciences. The kind of examples I've already shown based on Divyank is more than enough to start with. But you got to believe, as I believed my mother's, I believed in Om, I believed in this, I have come up this way. So you need to have a devotion for divine which has created. Only then this thing be. Man-made limited mind cannot really help you. That is the most beautiful thing which I learned from my mother's womb to mother's home to my life thereafter to take goes toward intention of Devyak. नियत अच्छी है, नीति अच्छी हैं, नतीजे अच्छे हैं. Have your intent very clear. You want a perfection. You'll be led by divinity, provided you believe divinity is the only one which can give you. And you have divinity as Aditi within you. And of course, you have the process with Gayatri. You have the process with Adi Prashakti. You have the process with Sakar Sargun Brahman. You also have, you can go to Nirankar Nirgun Brahman. You can get right up to Dhruv. It's all possible for every human being because we are designed with that. And that is all I have shown to the world one by one. Now come to the last stage. I'm not going to repeat this. The accumulation of everything is there. I think this is enough for that to show. Start with Bhakti Yoga as the first process before you are born. With the Bhakti Yoga, you do your Karma Yoga to the best with all the intention to be a perfect human being in the service of humanity. Then learn Gyan Yoga, Vigyan Yoga, Pragyan Yoga with perfection, not compromise copycat. Question the answer, knowledge which is given to you in books. Find faults, then find impeccable wisdom, and don't stop short with that. And that is what I have done. So I expect everybody to go ahead applying this thing, finding fault and moving more and more. Once you are able to do, I would say, we are moving with Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Siddha Yoga to Akhandita by and large. And that is what Akhand Yoga is all about. And I think enough for the day. Thank you very much.